Do you want to know how to become someone's first choice? The key is to not try to be picked at all. Doesn't it sound like a contradiction? But think about this. Have you ever noticed how people want things that are just out of reach, are obsessed with things they can't quite get, and value things that feel rare? Now, ask yourself, are you living like a rare gem, or like something that's always there for you? First, let me give you a strong thought experiment. Think of a room that is full of valuable things. There are many shiny things, but one stands out. A perfect diamond sitting in the middle of the room. People are drawn to it and are amazed by how brilliant it is. People already know it's important. They don't need to be told. Imagine that someone took the diamond and threw it into a group of rocks. Would the diamond be worth less? Of course not. But it would seem less interesting if it was mixed in with the everyday. There are too many people who throw themselves into the pile of rocks and hope that someone will dig through it and find them. That's not how this works, though. Stop trying to fit in if you want to become a priority instead of a choice. Live like the diamond you are, rare, beautiful, and undeniably valuable. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts, said Marcus Aurelius. In relationships, how you see yourself affects how other people see you. The way you think and act will make them treat you like a choice, someone who is ready to be picked. The world will rise to meet you, though, if you know how valuable you are and live like it. It might hurt you to hear this, but why are you waiting for someone to pick you? Why are you trusting them with your happiness, confidence, and sense of self-worth? The truth is that you're not a restaurant item that someone has to choose if they want to eat today. Right now, you should start acting like the feast that you are. But let's be honest, you're here because something doesn't seem right. You might be in a relationship where you're always the one who tries harder, makes plans, and reaches out. You might be trying to get someone's attention, but no matter what you do, you feel like a backup plan and not the main event. Doesn't it hurt? That awful feeling that you're giving a lot, but not getting much back. It's not that you're not doing enough. It's that you're doing too much. By always trying to prove your worth, you send the message that you're not important enough to be given priority. The good news is that you can change that. To begin, change the script so that they can't help but chase you instead of you following them. Picture a flame. It doesn't beg the moth to get closer. It doesn't turn down to make the moth feel better. It burns strongly and without shame. What about the moth? It's pulled in by the light and warmth and can't do anything about it. Think about your life now. Are you the flame that shines with self-worth and confidence? Or are you the moth that flies after someone else's light? Becoming a priority isn't about getting someone to notice you. It's about shining so brightly that they can't help but look away. When you're the one in charge of the room by being yourself, you don't have to beg for their attention. In spite of what you might think, when you pull back, they have room to lean in. It's not about playing games. It's about getting your energy back. This clear signal says, I value myself too much to overstay where I'm not valued. As a chef, what would you do if your friend kept looking at their phone while you served them the best dish? What do? It's not like you keep giving them more until they notice. You take the plate away. All of a sudden, they understand what they're missing. In relationships, the same rule holds. People can feel the lack of your energy when you stop giving too much. That lack speaks louder than words. According to Epictetus, we suffer not from the events in our lives, but from our judgment about them. You regain your power when you stop seeing their lack of interest in you as a sign of how valuable you are. Don't depend on their praise. Instead, show them that your attention is earned, not given away for free. Think about a terrible storm at sea. A small boat is being hit hard by waves. The sailor looks out to sea for anything that might help them find their way back to safety. Then, in the dark, they see it. A lighthouse that stands tall and steady, its beam cutting through the chaos. The lighthouse stays still and doesn't ask the sailor to get closer for any reason. It just shines, and its steady presence shows the way. You should feel like that lighthouse when you're in a relationship, steady, stable, and not affected by the chaos going on around you. There are no lost ships that the lantern goes after. It doesn't turn down the light to make the sailor feel better. It stays put because it knows that being a light, not a follower, is what makes it valuable. Stopping to chase someone down lets them feel the power of your steady presence. They'll come to you like a sailor drawn to the light, not because you begged them to, but because they know that you are the only stable thing in a world full of chaos. Because you'll be the calm in the storm. You'll go from being a choice to someone they can't imagine their life without. This may be the most important thing. You have to choose yourself before anyone else can. This means making rules, appreciating your time, and focused on your growth. Your happiness and joy come first. This sends a strong message. I am worth it, whether you see it or not. Take a look at it this way. The sun doesn't beg the planets to go around it. Because of how strong its pull is, they have no choice but to go. That's what takes place when you own your power. Focusing on becoming the best version of yourself will easily bring people to you, not because you need them, but because they can't stay away from the light you give off. You don't have to work harder or give more to become someone's priority. Instead, you have to step into your power, radiate self-worth, and let them rise to meet you. There's no need to chase. You don't need to ask. You only need to be calm, sure of yourself, and impossible to replace. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it, said Seneca. Stop wasting time trying to be picked. Pick yourself instead, and see how they can't help but follow suit. What you tell yourself shapes the world you make. Tell people what you're worth and see what they do. Affirmation: no one can choose me. It's all about me. Put this in the comments to take back your power. These words will help you focus and change the way you interact with others. Please like the movie and subscribe to the channel if this message spoke to you. Your help makes it possible for us to bring you material like this every day that will change your life. We're here for you. Are you ready to move from choice to importance? You can start the journey right now by making one choice. Accept your worth and let them know what they stand to lose. Take a look at it this way. The sun doesn't beg the planets to go around it. Because of how strong its pull is, they have no choice but to go. That's what takes place when you own your power. When you work on being the best version of yourself, other people are drawn to you, not because you need them, but because they can't stay away from the light you give off. You don't have to work harder or give more to become someone's priority. Instead, you have to step into your power, radiate self-worth, and let them rise to meet you. There's no need to chase. There's no need to ask. You only need to be calm, sure of yourself, and impossible to replace. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it, said Seneca. Give up trying to be picked. Pick yourself instead, and see how they can't help but follow suit. What you tell yourself shapes the world you make. Say what you're worth, and see what people do. Affirmation: no one can choose me. It's all about me. Put this in the comments to take back your power. These words will help you focus and change the way you interact with others. Please like the movie and subscribe to the channel if this message spoke to you. Your help makes it possible for us to bring you material like this every day that will change your life. We're here for you. Are you ready to move from choice to importance? You can start the journey right now by making one choice. Accept your worth and let them know what they stand to lose. Number 1. Sculpt your identity like a rare masterpiece. Have you ever been in a museum and been so amazed by a piece of art that you couldn't take your eyes off of it? It stands there in silence, shining brightly and demanding your attention. Not by making noise or acting desperate, just by being there. Think about being that beauty in someone's life. If you didn't want to be noticed, what if you could make yourself so unique and special that people would feel lucky just to be a part of your world? You really can. But it starts with how you see yourself. Are you taking care of your identity like a masterpiece, or like something you threw together quickly to please someone else? He said, every block of stone has a statue inside it, and it is the job of the sculptor to discover it. Your identity is like that block of marble. It's full of possibilities and just waiting to be shown. If you feel like a choice in someone's life right now, it's not because you're not important. It's because you haven't shown the world your masterpiece yet. People are drawn to people who know how valuable they are and have worked hard to get rid of their doubts and insecurities so that they can be their real, shining selves. In a crowded gallery, the most admired pieces aren't the ones that scream for attention. They're the ones that have a quiet, obvious pull. Similarly, you don't have to beg for someone's attention when you work on shaping your identity through your interests, your confidence, and your limits. They will be drawn to you just by being there. Being an option versus a goal is not about how much you give to other people, but about how much you value yourself. Let us use a metaphor that works really well here. Think of your personality as a blank piece of paper. Everything we do, everything we believe, and everything we experience is a brushstroke. If other people tell you how to paint, the canvas will look disorganized, dull, and finally unremarkable. But if you choose big, deliberate lines, you can make a masterpiece that people will admire and respect. Getting someone to prioritize you doesn't mean persuading them to choose you. It means becoming someone whose energy and presence are so strong that no one can deny them. Mastering your feelings is one of the most important things you can do to shape who you are. Stoicism teaches us that the most powerful thing you can have is control over yourself. You have power over your mind, not over outside events, said Marcus Aurelius. Realize this, and you will find strength. When the chaos around you doesn't bother you, you show a rare kind of strength that people naturally respect. It's not about being cold or distant. It's about showing that your self-worth doesn't change no matter what other people do to you. Watch a carver carefully work on a block of marble. They don't rush or let outside things get in the way of their work. Every hit with the chisel is planned, and every action is full of purpose. Be careful with your decisions, your energy, and your time. That's how you should approach your identity. Get rid of the parts of yourself that don't serve you anymore, like your fears, insecurities, and need for constant approval. This will show you your strong, confident heart. People will see your worth without you having to shout it the more you improve yourself. There's another way to look at it. A rare gem doesn't try to show how valuable it is. It just is, shining in its own natural brightness. The jeweler already knows it's valuable, so they don't ask. Yourself are that gem. Only if you work on yourself and don't wait for someone else to see how valuable you are. Start to ask yourself, what parts of myself are dull because I've been too busy trying to please other people? What can I do to improve my genius so that I don't need to be picked, but instead want to be the one picking? Creating your personality isn't about being perfect. It's about being yourself. You should know who you are, be proud of it, and not try to change to fit someone else's expectations. When you put your own growth, your interests, and your happiness first, you give off a powerful energy. Individuals will not consider you as a choice, since they understand that losing you is not something they can afford. Now, I want to know what kind of beauty you are going to make. Will you keep disappearing into the background and hope someone sees? Or will you take charge and make yourself so noticeable that they have to give you more attention? As a result, I am shaping my personality into a unique, brilliant, and unmistakable masterpiece. Write this in the comments to take back your power, and let these words help you get to the top of someone's list of priorities. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel if this message moved you. What we do is all about making material that changes your life and relationships. Your help gives us the drive to keep going. Let's get better together. You're not just a choice, the work of art that you are becoming. Number 2, be the chapter they can't stop rereading. When you were done reading a book, did you ever find yourself going back to a certain chapter? That one chapter stays with you no matter how many pages you read after it. You want to read that part of the story over and over again because it feels alive and full of meaning. What if you could be that part of someone's story? Nothing else in their lives can take them away from this part of their story. This is what it means to become unforgettable. To go from being a brief part of someone's trip to being the page they hold closest to their heart. There's a reason why some parts have such a big effect on people. They give something that can't be found anywhere else. They hit you hard, not because they want your attention, but because they have a meaning that you can't skip over or forget. This is the kind of energy you need to build in your connections. People don't read over the boring or expected parts of their lives. They read the parts again and again because they think they can't explain how they feel about those parts. Seneca, a smart Stoic philosopher, said, "While we are delaying, life speeds by." This is also true of how other people see us. If you let yourself be just another part of someone's story, something they can skip over or forget, you'll still be a choice. However, when you show up as the part that needs to be felt and makes them stop and think, you become important. The key is not to force them to pay attention, but to become so important to them that they can't help but come back to you. Picture your life as a book. A paragraph is made up of each encounter and choice. If your pages are full of boring repeats like giving, over-explaining, or chasing all the time, you might become a chapter that people skip over. Take the time to write yourself into their story in a way that will stick with them. Be the chapter that makes people want to know more, the one that sticks out in their mind, and the one that holds a beautiful piece of their soul hostage. Let me use a figure of speech. Think of an old picture that you see in an art gallery. A lot of people who come here just look at it, nod, and move on. Some do stop though. They just stare, enthralled, trying to figure out what it is. The picture is quiet and doesn't shout for attention. The layers, the colors, the brush strokes, and the story it tells in silence are what give it power. You need to be something they stop and look at, not something they glance at and move on from. You need to be something that holds their attention long after they've left. To become that chapter, you need to have meaning and purpose. It's about being there, not just being there, but also being someone who can connect you in ways that others can't. It's not about sharing too much or being too much. It's about giving them moments that are so powerful that they will remember them for years to come. For example, don't do the same old things over and over again. Instead, do something thoughtful and personal that will surprise them. Instead of talking about shallow things, talk about things that make them feel seen and understood. For them, these times become emotional bonds that connect them to you in ways they won't understand until they keep coming back to you. Stoicism shows us that depth is more important than number. Marcus Aurelius said, "Don't waste time telling each other what a good man should be. Be one." This is true here. Stop putting in so much work to show your worth. Focus on having such an important presence that they can't help but respect you instead. Don't try to be in every part of their story. Try to be the part they never want to end. Think about a song you love from a different point of view. It's not something you play once and then forget about. It makes you feel something that other songs don't. You play it over and over again. This is what happens when people read your part over and over again. You make connections, feelings, and times that are so powerful that people want to come back to you not because you want them to, but because you've left an indelible mark. Being present is the key to this change. Be fully there when you're with them. It's important to make them feel like they are the most important person in the room. So put down your phone and pay close attention. But there's a catch. Don't let that presence become every day. Keep your connection and mystery in check. Give them a taste of who you really are, but not all at once. Do not fully explore some parts of yourself. This will give them a reason to return, find you, and want more. Also, know that being memorable doesn't mean being perfect. Being honest, raw, and on purpose is what it's all about. Let your words and deeds show off your unique energy. People will forget what you said or did, but they will always remember how you made them feel. You add yourself to their story in a way that they'll love reading, over and over again. Affirmation: I am the chapter they can't put down. Write this in the comments to take back your power, and let these words help you become someone who people will remember. Don't forget that you are not just a number in someone's story. They will never want the story to end because of you. Number 3, turn silence into your strongest statement. Did you ever notice that the person with the biggest voice doesn't always get heard? It's sometimes the quiet confidence, the power that's not said, that gets the most attention. Being quiet isn't just the lack of sound, it's its own language that can say a lot when used correctly. What if you didn't try to explain yourself, prove yourself, or get attention all the time? Instead, let your silence speak for you. Why not hold back and let someone get closer to you? What if your quiet had the power to make them lean in, wonder, and choose you? Not because you told them to, but because they couldn't ignore it. Silence is a source of great strength, as the wise Lao Tzu said. This couldn't be more true in relationships. You change things when you stop chasing and learn how to be quiet and confident. You let them feel the weight of your absence instead of responding or trying to get their attention all the time. When used right, silence isn't empty. It's a mirror. The other person has to think about the things they've been taking for granted. It makes a room where your worth is clear, because it's not continuously staring them in the face. Imagine that you're at a symphony, and the music builds up to a very loud and dramatic peak. After that, it stops for a short time. Doesn't the silence make you feel like electricity? The air isn't empty. It's full of excitement that makes you hold on to every second, eager for what's next. You need that kind of quiet in your life. That doesn't mean being inactive or distant. It means making a choice. People will start to notice the quiet times when you stop making noise all the time. They lean in because of how powerful what you're not saying is. Think about what we do when our email is full, our phone rings, or someone talks non-stop. Isn't it too much to handle? Think about how nice it is when someone talks clearly, picking their words carefully, and giving you time to make sense of them. That's what being quiet does. It makes a difference and breaks up the noise. When you don't try to defend yourself, explain yourself, or get someone's attention, they will be more likely to come forward and meet you halfway. When you're in a relationship, being quiet doesn't mean you don't care about or want to talk to the other person. It means you want to show that your worth doesn't depend on constant approval. Rumi said it so well. Listen to silence. It has so much to say. When you be still, you give the other person time to understand how important you are. You let them know that you're not there for them anymore with your words, your energy, or your attention. And when you're not there, your worth is clear. To help you understand this better, picture yourself as a tall tower by the water. You don't run after the ships and yell at them to pay attention or beg them to see you. You just shine, steady and sure, leading them home. Ships can sometimes get off course because of the waves or their own path, but they'll remember your light when the storm comes. Like the lighthouse, your silence isn't idle. It has a purpose. Even when you're not reaching out, it's like a light reminding you of how strong and stable you are. Silence is beautiful because it lets you be in charge without pushing anything. It's a quiet storm that makes people interested and respectful. Stopping to explain or respond shows that you believe in yourself and don't need to prove your worth to anyone. This kind of inner power pulls you in. The attention shifts from what you're giving to how they treat you. All of a sudden, they are the ones who are curious, trying to connect, and wondering. your silence starts to weigh on them, and they see it as a chance to step up and win your attention again. A strong way to think about it is that quiet is like a book page that is empty. It's not that there is no story. It's the blank area where the reader's mind fills in the blanks. In your relationships, you give the other person time to think, feel, and reflect when you stop talking all the time and make time for silence. They'll start to feel how much they miss your words, your energy, and being with you. They'll hear what you've been trying to say the whole time in that quiet. There is no need to shout louder or do more to go from being an option to a goal. It's about having faith that your silence will help. It means taking a step back and letting your silence do the talking. Mastering the art of quiet makes it possible for people to value you, not because you told them to, but because they could feel it. Thought for the day. My silence says louder than words. It proves my worth. Put this in the comments to take back your power and own this truth. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel if this message spoke to you. We want to make material that changes your relationships and your life, and your help makes that possible. One strong lesson at a time. We're here to show you how valuable you are. Number 4. Build a life so full they want to be part of it. Imagine walking into a garden. This isn't a rundown plot of land. This is a thriving paradise full of bright flowers, strong trees, and the soothing sound of water running. This is the kind of place that makes you feel calm and at ease because of its beauty and wealth. Now, ask yourself, is your life that garden? Or is it just a field that needs to be planted with seeds by someone else? To become a priority, you don't have to beg someone to recognize you. Instead, you have to make your life so full that they have to be a part of it. Lucky people are those who are ready for what comes their way and are given the chance. Your life should feel like a call to something amazing, not like a blank slate waiting for someone else to fill it. Making your life full of meaning, joy, and passion makes you the kind of person that people want to spend time with, not because you're chasing them, but because they can't stay away from the energy you give off. The world you live in is like a busy market. While it's empty, quiet, and not interesting, no one stays. But people are drawn to it when it's full of color and a rhythm that keeps them interested. They want to find out more, understand, and be a part of the story. That's the kind of life you want to live. One that is full and full of life that makes people notice you. This doesn't mean filling your days with pointless things just to look like you're busy. In other words, it means filling your life with things that really make you happy and that make people want to be around you. Think for a moment. What would happen in your life if you focused on yourself as much as you've been focusing on getting someone else's attention? Would you start a new sport, get closer to friends, or go after a goal you've been putting off? Focusing on making your life exciting sends a strong message. You are someone who should be prioritized, not because you want it, but because other people want to be a part of your life. There is a tree in a field that stands tall. It doesn't go after the birds and beg them to land on its trees. It just grows and grows, aiming for the sky. The birds naturally come to it because it is strong and beautiful. Your life should be like that tree, rooted, full, and growing. You become attractive when you put money into yourself, your interests, and your growth. Emptiness is not important to people. What motivates and excites them is, you don't need someone to tell you that you're valuable. You don't have to show why you should be picked. Instead, work on making your life so full of meaning, happiness, and love that the right person will feel privileged to share it with you. Make your life so that you are the sun in your own world. You should shine brightly and draw people to you because you are so warm. Affirmation: my life is lively, full, and interesting. It's all about me. Put this in the comments to say it's true. Number 5. Let your absence speak louder than your presence. Have you ever thought about how quiet can be louder than words? How the lack of someone can affect your thinking much more than their constant presence? The area you leave behind can often say more about a person than anything they do or say. If you've ever felt like an afterthought, like someone only sees you when you're there, it might be time to take a step back and let your silence speak for itself. When nothing is done, nothing is left undone, said the philosopher Lao Tzu. This isn't about giving up on your goals. It's about learning how to be calm. Being present, reaching out, or making yourself available all the time takes away from the importance of your presence. When used correctly, absence can make room for wonder, longing, and thought. When someone has never lost something, they can't miss it. In the middle of the desert, a glass of water seems like the most valuable thing in the world. But if you put that same glass of water in a jungle, it will be forgotten, just one of many. In the same way, being in someone's life helps them. They might not fully understand how valuable you are if you're always there for them and always give. If you step back just enough for them to notice the change, you become that oasis they can't live without because it's so refreshing. Not fading completely is the key. It's knowing when to take a step back. If you're always approachable, people might think you're not important. Others can live their lives without you, even if it's only for a short time. They see what they're missing when they do this. Don't make yourself so available that you are invisible, said Rumi in a beautiful way. When you make space, you invite thought. You give them a chance to remember how important you are. Pick out a favorite tune. It starts to lose its magic when it's played too much, right? But if you don't listen to it for a while, when you do, it will feel new, nostalgic, and important. Like that song, your appearance should be something they treasure and not forget. You need to be sure of your worth before you can let your absence speak louder than your appearance. It's not about tricking people. It's about having respect for yourself. You are showing them and yourself that your time and energy are limited and should not be wasted. Being absent isn't a sign of absence. It's a sign of strength. I know what I bring to the table, and I trust you to see it, it says. What should we do next? Start out small. Don't keep giving too much. Take a step back. Let your absence make room for other people to step up. As you watch, they'll start to notice the hole and work to fix it. When you're not there all the time, they'll have to think about what it means to them to have you there. Affirmation: being absent makes me more valuable. Feel strong by writing this in the comments. It may help you remember that taking a step back is sometimes the best way to move forward. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel if this message spoke to you. We work hard to make lessons that will change your relationships and give you the tools you need to run your own life. Your support keeps us going, and we can become the best versions of ourselves with your help. Number 6. Craft moments that echo in their mind. What if I told you that the best way to become memorable isn't through big actions or constant attention, but through the small, thoughtful moments you make? Think about this. Some memories stay with us long after the talks and daily routines fade away. It could be a word said at the right time, a gesture that made us feel seen, or a moment of connection that was so deep that it lasts. These times don't happen by chance. They're planned. You need to learn how to make moments that stick in their minds if you want to go from being someone they think about sometimes to someone they can't stop thinking about. Rumi said, "Don't be happy with stories about how things went for other people. Unfold your own myth. You can create times that people will remember if you can pull yourself out of the ordinary and make something amazing. This doesn't mean going all out or making a scene. It means being thoughtful, real, and present in a way that really hits home with the other person. Not only are you there, but you're also making a place where their presence becomes a memory they play over and over again. Put yourself in a beach chair and picture the waves lapping gently at your feet. All of a sudden, you notice a strange shell. You've never seen anything like it before in terms of shape, color, and feel. You pick it up and can't stop thinking about it even after you leave the beach. These are the kinds of thoughts you want them to have. You want your warmth, energy, and the times you spend together to be the shell they keep coming back to long after everything else is gone. To create these moments, you need to be more than just physically there. You need to connect with someone on purpose and with deep feeling. When you talk, pick words that make people feel good or that hit them harder than they seem. Show care and attention through the way you act. If we want to be truly powerful, we need to change how we show up. It is not the man who has too little that is poor. It is the man who desires more that is poor, said Seneca. In relationships, it's not about giving more things or attention. It's about giving more value. Take a moment to think about what events in your life you will always remember. Did someone buy you a present? It could have been the way they listened when you didn't feel seen. Was the dinner fancy? Or the way they made you laugh so hard you forgot about your problems? Moments that stay with us aren't about how much they're worth. They're about how they make us feel. Being fully present, showing real care, and giving them something they can't get anywhere else, an authentic connection, will have the same long-lasting effect. So how do you make moments that stay with them? Be careful to begin with. Instead of letting exchanges happen by chance, think about how you can make the other person feel heard, inspired, or loved. It could be as easy as remembering a small thing they said out loud and bringing it up at the right time. It could be as simple as writing them a note or saying something nice to them when they least expect it. It could also be making a moment of silence together that feels comfortable instead of awkward. The important thing is to make people feel something that lasts. People will always remember how you make them feel. When you make times that really hit home for them, you go from being an option to being important in their life. You become the thing they remember, the person they use to judge others, and the person they look for when the world gets too much. Affirmation. I give them times that they will never forget. and that stay in their hearts and minds. Sign your name below to say that it is true. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel if this message moved you. We're working hard to give you things that will help you learn, connect, and do well in every part of your life. There are other people like you, but you're the echo they'll never forget. Rule number 7. Be the anchor in their storm. Have you ever seen a ship in a storm? The waves crash and the wind howls, but the ship stays put thanks to its anchor. Now picture yourself as that anchor, but not for a ship. You would be that anchor for someone's stormy feelings and crazy life. For them, you are the stable force they can turn to when everything seems to be falling apart. You give them the peace they need. Being the center in a relationship doesn't mean taking care of all of their issues. It means being strong, stable, and present all the time, making yourself necessary. A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials. Seneca said, "Storms in life aren't meant to break us, they're meant to show us who we are." When you show that you can handle conflict and come out of it cool, collected, and unshaken, people will naturally put you first. People will seek you out, not just for what you do, but also for the energy you bring, which is strong, stable, and unreplaceable. Think of yourself as a lighthouse on a rough night. The lighthouse doesn't chase the ships or yell directions into the sky. It just stands tall, and its light shines through the darkness to guide and comfort people. The ships depend on it, not because it's annoying, but because it gives them something important: order in the middle of chaos. That's the kind of influence you want to have with other people. There should be no storms around you. Instead, be the calm lighthouse that draws them in. To be someone's support, you don't have to be perfect or hide your feelings. You just have to learn how to control them. You send the message that you are a safe harbor, a place of peace and security. When you stay calm in the face of conflict or confusion, you don't have to give up your own wants or become their emotional support system to do this. It means letting them know that you are stable, trustworthy, and sure of your own worth, no matter what. When you reflect this energy, you go from being a choice to being the person they trust and choose over everything else. Affirmation. What they need most right now is an anchor that will hold them steady and strong. Write this in the comments to show how strong you are and how much power you have in relationships. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel if this message spoke to you. Thanks for your support. It motivates us to keep making things that will change your life and help you step into your power. We will build a stronger, more satisfying future together, one that is based on self-worth and being true to ourselves.